Human trafficking. Even though it's the 21st century, it still exists. Not only that, it's bigger than ever, and most people today still believe it has perished long ago. So, I'm sharing 50 facts about human trafficking with you all. Hopefully, after this video, you will have something to think of. Stay tuned. There are around 37 million victims of human trafficking in 2016. 50% are children, 70% are women and girls, 30% of female victims are forced into labor. The other 70% traffic into the commercial sex industry. Pimps can resell their girls at a higher price as the girls are trained and have lost all hope. 1.2 million children have been trafficked in 2015 alone. So, around every 30 seconds, a child is trafficked. At the end of this video, around 12 children will be trafficked. Over 71% of trafficked children showed suicide tendency. Only 70,000 victims have been identified and helped in the past 20 years. In fact, only 4,250 victims were identified and helped in 2015. The average age of victims who are forced into the sex industry is 12 years old. The average price of a slave is around $100 USD. Slaves are cheaper today than they have ever been. The global sex trade industry is not a dying, but a booming business. Human trafficking is the second largest criminal activity in the world. In fact, human trafficking is a $32 billion business. It is also the fastest growing criminal industry in the world. Chances are you are indirectly supporting human trafficking. The cotton that made your shirt might be linked to forced labor. The shrimp that you ate for lunch might be caught by slaves. The soap that you used this morning, the palm oil that made the soap might be harvested by slaves. The younger the female is, the more people will pay. There are actually professional rapists that breaks the victim's spirit by beating and raping them over and over again. Victims forced into prostitution are still being arrested by police. People who buy slaves are rarely prosecuted. People who were forced into the sex industry have been blacklisted for prostitution, making it difficult for them to find another job. 91% of Americans believe slavery no longer exists. Tattoos are used by pimps to show ownership. 20 to 60% of people who work in the sex trade, including people who were forced into prostitution, said they've been raped and assaulted by police. 23 countries have been blacklisted for failing to meet minimum standards in fighting human trafficking. Thailand is generally considered to have the worst child sex trafficking records. The Obama administration was accused of overlooking human trafficking in Malaysia and Cuba for the sake of trade. There are more slaves today than ever before in history. 52% of traffickers' recruiters are male. 42% of traffickers' recruiters are female. The other 6% are both male and female. Buyers can now buy slaves online. They don't even have to go to the dark web. Craigslist.com used to be one of the most famous websites to buy victims who are forced into the sex industry. Organ harvesting of trafficked victims is growing at an alarming rate. Some children are bought by terrorists to act as suicide bombers. Some are bought to be trained as militants. Global warming has left millions homeless and extremely vulnerable to human trafficking. Human traffickers work with corrupt government officials to obtain travel documents and seize passports. Sex trafficking plays a major role in the spread of HIV. Traffickers use their own trained girls to recruit other girls into the sex trade. 30,000 victims of sex trafficking die each year from abuse, disease, torture, and neglect. Globalization actually feeds human trafficking. No one should be taken from their family. No one should be forced to work. No one should own another person's life. We must end human trafficking before it becomes too big to fall. This is VendaSoul saying stay safe, and thanks for watching.